My lecture series of data structures. In today's video lecture, we are going to see about what are all the types of data structures. I recap the previous lectures. What is a data structure? Data structure is nothing but it is a way of representing or arranging the data in a computer so that it can be accessed efficiently and frequently. It is all about grouping and storing the collection of data, and we are going to apply the operations that can be performed on the data. For that operations, we can use several types of algorithm for performing the operations. So grouping and storing a collection of data in a computer memory in an organized way, it is called it as a data structures. The data structures is classified as based upon that sequence accessing thing. It can be classified as a linear data structure and non-linear data structures. So the linear data structure means the data are arranged in sequence order, that is a one by one representation. So suppose you want to retrieve and you want to delete an item, means we have to go from starting index to the ending index. So that is a linear data structures. And non-linear data structures mean the data are arranged in a hierarchical manner. Mainly the non-linear data structures are used in the terms of the hierarchical data structure, like the Google Maps, and then in the company we have maintained some hierarchical fashion, so that things the non-linear data structures are used. So this is the classification of data structures. Now we will see that what are all the operations on data structures. So the operations on data structures are traversal. So what is a traversal? Processing each element in the list. We are traverse the list from zeroth index to the last index. Next is a search. Search means finding the location of the element with a given value with a given key. That is a search. Next is an insertion operation, adding a new element in the given list. Next is a deletion. Deletion means removing an element from the list. So removing the element from the list is called as a deletion. Next is sorting. Sorting is arranging the elements in some type of order. Arranging the elements in some type of order is called it as a sorting. Next is a merging. Merging means combining the two lists into the single list. So these are all the operation we can perform in a data structures. So the benefits of data structures is the data structures require a certain amount of space for each item it stores, and also the time to perform a single basic operation. It is the main thing you have to consider to selecting the data structures. Next, the effort of the programming. So these are all the terms we require to selecting the one type of data structures. That means a space, time, and which type of programming language you are going to use to implement that data structures. Now we will see the types of data structures in a brief. So first is data structure is a the data is called it as a primitive and non-primitive data types. So primitive means, for example, it is a built-in data structures or built-in data type like int, float, character, and string. These are all the primitive data structures. Next is a non-primitive or user-defined data structures, are that type of data type are defined by the user. For example, an array, structure, union. These are all the things we have seen in the C language. So in the non-primitive or user-defined data structure is again classified as a linear and non-linear. So linear means the data are accessed in a sequence order. In the non-linear means the data are accessed in the hierarchical order. So again the non-linear linear is classified as an static and dynamic. In the static data structure, the example is an array. So array is an already we are fixing the size of the array. So in that array also we can perform all the operations like traverses, searching, insertion, deletion, and sorting and all the operation we can perform in the arrays, but the array size is fixed, that is the static. Next is the dynamic, means we can resize the size of a data structures. So the dynamic data structure is classified as a list, stack and queue. That is a stack and queue is the dynamic data structures. So that dynamic data structures or linear data structures are implement in the two ways. One is an array implementation, other one is a linked list implementation. So array means all the elements are stored in the one by one. So linked list means using the pointer variable, using the pointer field, we can link the one data with another using the linked field. That is called it as a linear linked list implementation. Next is the non-linear. The example of non-linear is trees and graphs. So in this slide again, that sequential and non-sequential representation, that is a linear and non-linear, is again classified as based upon the accessing. So the accessing methods are either is an indexing or direct access or sequential access. So the sequential access, example of sequential access linear data structure is a list, stack, queue and priority queue. These are all the sequential access data structures. Next is a direct access. So direct access is, for example, is an record and file and array. These are all the directed access data structures. Again, that array is called it as an sorted and unsorted. Next is an indexing representations are directory and hash table. So this is the classification of linear. Linear is based upon that accessing method. Next is the non-linear. So the non-linear we are again classified as a hierarchical and group collections. So in the hierarchical representation, the example is a tree and heap. So that is a hierarchical representations. Next is a group data structures. In the non-linear type is a set and graph. So these are all the classification of data structures in terms of static, dynamic, in sequential and non-sequential representation, and also linear and non-linear classification. I hope you will understand in this lecture. So what is the need of what is the data structure, and what are all the operations we can perform in the data structures, and how it can be implemented, and what are all the things we have to consider to implement the certain data structures and classification and data structures. Thank you.